What's up, Indies? How's it going, everybody? In a few seconds here, we're going to get started. So if you got any questions, put them below. And we already have a good bunch of questions from Indies this week. So some really important stuff we want to go over in this live stream. Number one, our buddies from Crypt need a little help kind of tying all of this together. And I just want to reference Kanan's question real quick. I can just pull it up here. All right. So Kanan was asking kind of how to tie all of this together, which is a very, very valid question. And it's one we get a lot. And I want to really, really address this and leave this up as like, a constant example of how you're supposed to work this, how this is all supposed to come together. So let me just find the right message. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Kanan asked, I'm currently trying to find the perfect balance of giving away music/merchandise, but still finding the channels to sell them as well. Obviously, us indies have to make some money, but we are in this spirit of being heard and seen. If anyone here is familiar with Gary Vee, he teaches the jab, jab, hook method, where you give, and then you ask your audience to buy. Where should that hook come in? To longtime fans, to first-time fans? And if you give away music and merchandise, what do they have left to purchase? Is it donating in the form of crowdfunding, setting up a GoFundMe for tracking a new record? With Crypt, we have loads of new material just waiting to be released, but I'm trying to do it the best way possible through the tactics taught here. I'm also left wondering, do we have enough for merch? How do we generate sales? When will people grow tired of this method? So, first of all, let's address this in reverse order. People are not going to grow tired of this method. This is how sales have been made for companies for ages, dating back to the 1920s. So marketing and sales has, for as long as it's been a reliable, measurable practice, has been all about sales funnels. Sales funnels are as old as dirt, older than the Great Depression. And a sales funnel is a series of interactions that walks a user, a prospect, a listener, a customer through the relationship building steps. And as funnels over time have gotten closer to the relationship building process, which is we see in human nature all the time, they have gotten more successful. And that's why our funnel, which the buddy system is, it's a funnel. It is a series of interactions. We just happen to sequence it out in a reliable, consistent way. But the buddy system is entirely a funnel. If anyone out there, there's a lot of great people out there. Gary Vee is teaching jab, jab, hook. That's a funnel. A jab is an interaction. A jab is an interaction. A hook is an interaction. Usually, back in the day, these used to be just sales letters. So you get one sales letter in direct mail, and it would offer you a free consumer guide or a free report. And then if you responded to that to get the free consumer guide, you'd get that guide, free value. And then they would send a follow-up letter. And these were sequential mailings, which was an innovation in the sales industry back when it was all direct mail. Now, as time has gone on, this got more complex. So then the internet came about, and it was web, There were funnels built on infomercials, and you would call in, right? So there's always been a way to introduce and make a customer aware of a company and a product, and then give them something for free to, hit that reciprocity and get one of those 6 influential triggers going. And then there would be a low dollar entryway product, which over time has, people played around with this. Now it's called the tripwire. And then the next interaction is usually the core offer. And then at the end of that, if you have reliable customers, then, they might want to go a level deeper with you. So the buddy system is a sales funnel. So let's look at exactly how it works. First of all, we have an indirect introduction, which for those of you who have taken the Fan Finder Master Course, you will find no better indirect introduction than that one, except for referrals, which come later in the funnel. And then you have your education sequence, right? The education phase. We typically get this done with ManyChat, but you should know that if you don't have a ManyChat sequence in place, Your education phase is probably going to be whatever your listener can find about you on your Facebook page. So if you don't have something in place that takes them through a series of time where they're getting educated to your brand, then that's going to happen out of your control. And that's why we use ManyChat. We use it because it allows us a certain modicum of control over the next step in the funnel. So number one, indirect introduction. Number two, education. Your website, people might be going to your website and just getting educated on you. People might be going to your Facebook page and getting educated on you. We like to use ManyChat because we can control how people get educated on us as a band. And this is how companies do it too. Don't get me wrong. There is email, like companies are usually going straight to subscribe. There's an awareness and an engagement period before that. Someone has to engage with your content before they're going to subscribe to you reliably. So then we have permission. After indirect introduction, and we've educated them, we then get their permission to follow up with them. And it's just like friendships. You meet somebody, you talk a little bit, and then maybe you exchange numbers, right? Whether it's a friend or some member of the opposite sex who you were interested in, that's the process, right? You get introduced, you have to kind of clear this like not knowing each other phase, and then you exchange contact information. You get permission to follow up. And that is in every sales funnel. It's called subscribe. It's called, we call it permission just to show you how it models human relationships. So then you have them subscribed. No product has been offered yet. You are not yet offering them something for sale. Then on the permission phase, what we typically do is offer them a lead magnet or a permission offer. The permission offer that we teach is a multi-day, interactive experience. Because instead of just giving them free music, you have an opportunity there to meet them, to show them more about who you are, to communicate with them and make them feel like this is really different than any other time they've, interacted with a band. And that's what we're doing here. We are showing people a first of its kind experience. No other artist is offering this kind of relationship for free. I can't think of one band. I can think of a few historical examples, but I can't think of many who you can go and dive into their world like this, right? So that's the next phase. So just to recap, we've done introduction, we've done education. So introduction is our video view campaigns. Education is our ManyChat sequences, or if you don't have a ManyChat sequence in place, someone's probably just going to your website or going to your Facebook page, and that's how they're getting educated on you. Then we have permission. The next step that someone can take with you, whether you're a company, an artist, whatever, is to subscribe to one of your lists, okay? And then we have nurturing. Once someone has subscribed, you can totally try to sell them something right there, but it's going to be far less successful than if you throw another jab, as Gary Vee likes to say. So jab, jab, hook is exactly the right idea. Free content, free opt-in offer, and then free nurturing sequence, all giving them free stuff, okay? And then you have affirmation. This is your first conversion, okay? This is the first point at which you try to sell someone something. So what we've seen work best, the highest sales we ever get, is if we don't try to sell them anything all the way through until affirmation at the end of our permission offer sequence. So just to recap, someone watches one of your videos, gets introduced. Someone either fishes around on your Facebook page or your website and they figure out who you are, or we give them a ManyChat sequence and you tell them who you are. Then we have the permission stage, where you are offering something in exchange for contact information, which is very much like how friendships work. And then you have your nurturing stage, where you're kind of getting to know each other. So you've now exchanged contact information, now you hang out. This permission offer and nurturing sequence is literally, take my new musical interactive experience and then however many days of email you're sending them. And you want to do this live first. So you're going to send them out live emails, live streams, live conference calls, and be interacting with them this whole time. And then once you've nurtured them appropriately, at the very end is your first sale, your first offer. Now, that should be a full price CD. You don't have to give it in like a free plus shipping and handling format, okay? That for most of you guys, you're going to run your video view campaigns, maybe set up ManyChat, get them educated, send them to a landing page, serve another ad to the people who did all of this, and get them to your landing page to take part in your new music experience. Should be an interactive experience. And then you're going to nurture that listener the whole time. Give them free content. Take them behind the scenes. Give them a reason to understand you as a musician, as a band. What are you all about? And then at the end of that nurturing sequence, your first sale. Now, when we launch this way, we're talking about $3,000 in a day, $4,000 in a day. That's what we ended up with when we first did this whole sequence all the way through. That's why this is the buddy system. Once again, this is a funnel. This is a sales funnel. If anyone's telling you they got a relationship building process for your business, it's a funnel. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. We are first doing our video view campaign. So if you've taken the master course, you know all about the video view campaign. You know that it's the perfect indirect introduction you can make to a music listener. Then we have the education stage. We use ManyChat, okay? But if you have a badass Facebook page set up or a badass website set up, people are probably going to get educated on you through that if you don't have ManyChat. And then we have permission, which we're running these opt-in offers. We're offering free music across multiple days in an interactive experience. And all you have to do is give me your name and email, and I'm going to send you my whole latest album for free, right? Nobody does that. That's the coolest thing that you can do for your listeners. Cool. It's so cool, right? And then you are going to email them. You are going to walk them through your whole album or whatever you're releasing to them for free across multiple days in email format. Now, we use content pages, so we send them emails and we then send them to a content page where they can download the music, watch the live streams, do whatever. But you can do it all through email. It doesn't have to be that complicated. And then affirmation is that first sale. What we do is we just release the album in physical format. So they have it digitally. You've already given it to them digitally. And your super diehard people, the people who really enjoy the experience, are going to want to repay you. And you give them a vehicle to do so in the form of a CD, t-shirt, whatever it is that you want to offer. And then on the back end of that, we have some more stages, okay? There is ascension, right? So if you've got fans, obviously you're not going to, offer one CD and then be out, right? So you have follow-up CDs, you have t-shirts, you have merchandise. What I recommend is surveying your fan base. Once you have people in the affirmation stage, you're totally going to have tons of people you can survey. So survey them and ask them what they want from you, and then make it and offer it to them. That's the ascension stage. And then there is the referral stage, or the promotion stage, where people are now like you so much that they're trying to turn on people in their town to you. It is an awesome place to be. Gotten a few artists to this place, and it's great. So people buy multiple products and they start saying, dude, this guy's the shit. I'm going to start recommending him to all of my friends, and everyone has to listen to this guy. That's the referral stage. And then at the end, you have a team stage, which is like they're gonna street team for you. You send them stickers, and they're gonna go post them all over town. So let's look at this, okay? Let's take a real good look at this, okay? This is the buddy system. It is a funnel. This is all this is a funnel. Okay, it's a sales funnel. Sales funnels are as old as dirt. They're as old as the Great Depression. Okay? Number one, we get them introduced to us indirectly with our video view campaigns. Then we educate them on who we are as a band. Give them a little reason to stick around instead of just saying, oh, I saw this guy. Now they've talked to this guy or this band or this gal, right? We do that through ManyChat, and we have a full 18-lesson training on that. But if you have a great web page, you got a great Facebook page, someone's going to go there and educate themselves on you. It won't be as reliable as having something in place for this stage, but it will happen. It does happen. And then we have permission. Can we follow up with you? Are you cool with everything we've shown you up until this point so much that you want to hear more? And that's where they sign up. Typically, this becomes a lot easier when you're offering them something in exchange for signing up. So like I can get, the phone number of a bunch of influencers in town a lot easier if I'm asking them to come out to a game. I've got box seats, right? That's a permission offer, and that's why we teach that. Then when you deliver on your permission offer, you're going to nurture. So if I go with that influencer to the game where we have box seats, we're going to talk there, and he's going to find out a lot more about who I am. So for you guys, you're offering maybe some free music with behind the scenes stuff and, interactive conversation between you and your fans. That's going to happen over email or whatever you're delivering your nurturing stage for after you've given permission. Then at the end of that nurturing stage, you make your first sale. So don't offer anything for free except digital music up until this point, okay? Then make your first sale. Make it a full price CD, because your diehard fans who have enjoyed everything up until this point, they're going to want to reciprocate. They want to give back, okay? And that's super important. So once you've sold something, right, you can take your customer list and offer them follow-up products. This is ascension. You can ascend them up your value ladder. For Nino, it's been, we have t-shirts, we have hoodies. If people want to get into that after they bought the album, they have an opportunity to. We don't force it upon people. It's only the people who want to do it. So your customer list is going to naturally trickle through this ascension stage. And then we have referral, where people start going, dude, I have told 8 people in my town about you. Come to wherever, we're going to go to your show. As soon as you come out, I'll bring tons of people. That's your refers. You can have reliable campaigns that usher people through this stage. Just like your video view campaigns usher people through the introduction, you can usher people through referral. We haven't done a whole lot of great work with that. That's why it's not part of the 5-step buddy system we've taught up until now. But we're working on it. We're working on it every day. It's just getting people through this ascension stage has been our primary focus. Soon we're going to be creating refers reliably. And then we're going to be creating street teams reliably. And street teams are a historical method of completely spreading your movement far and wide. So to answer Kanan's question, you're going to make your sale after you have subscribers. After you have subscribers and you've talked to them, you've delivered them a lot of value. You've given enough jabs in your permission offer nurturing sequence that they want to buy your CD. Great. Sell them the CD. Then after you've done this for a while, this permission offer becomes evergreen. You're running it automatically like we are for the audio trip. So people can just sign up and there's no live interactivity to it. It's still kind of interactive. You can then start playing around with your first sale. That's when we start introducing free plus shipping and handling offers. That's when you start trying to get more sales out of different places. And you will have, once again, a function of funnels is that you end up having people at every stage. So you'll have a ton of warm audience who have watched 25% or more of your video. You'll have a ton of people who have signed up to ManyChat. You'll have less people than that who have signed up to your email lists. You'll have less people than that who open and click emails, which is super important. And then, a little bit less than that is going to buy your first offer. Now, once you have these lists, once you start having people accumulate at all steps of the funnel, well, you can take your people who are on your ManyChat list and offer them a free CD, because it's a campaign that spans these 3 stages, okay? So you have permission, nurturing, and affirmation. You can skip all that with free plus shipping and handling CDs. So that's when we start offering those kinds of offers. It's just a creative way to change up how people are interacting with this journey. Okay, it is a funnel, and I'm gonna try to bold it out so you guys can see it a little better. But I hope everyone gets that. I hope everyone understands that the buddy system is just a funnel, and it's a really good funnel because it's based off of how human interactions work. And we already have stuff in place for all of this. If you've taken the master course, you know how to make great introductions, step 1. If you've taken the ManyChat training, you know how to educate people reliably before trying to get them to opt in. And then if you're taking the building your permission offer training, then you are starting to understand how you get people to opt in. And then we're also going to show you on the back end how to nurture them with email. Steps towards the rest of it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just so, and also, like, think about this. Make yourself this diagram, okay? Introduction, education, permission, nurturing, affirmation, ascension, referral, and team. In each of these goes a campaign, okay? So if you're sitting around thinking, oh man, we're not getting email subscribers reliably, well, you need to change out whatever campaign is getting you through that permission stage. If people aren't opening and clicking your nurturing stage, you know that you need to put in a different campaign. And I love Digital Marketer because they really boil this down great, which is a campaign is just a traffic source, a call to action, and a metric that you're measuring. So, for our introduction stage, our traffic source is video views, ads on Facebook ads. That's where we get the traffic. The call to action is watch this video. And the metric we're measuring is 25% or more video views. That's the people who really watched it, okay? Here, ManyChat, the traffic source is warm audience from this stage. It can either be through Facebook ads or the comment to messenger tool. And the call to action is, hey, go through this little sequence, get some free music, right? The metric you're measuring is how many people from here sign up here. So it should totally make sense now. It's just a funnel, and it's not that complicated. Tons of people on the internet are going to complicate the shit out of how all this works, but it's super simple. And my understanding of this has gotten better, but the fundamentals, they click for me right away. So don't feel like, oh, you've done this a bunch of times, you know how to walk through it. First time I walked through the audio trip was the first time that I really, really applied what I had learned about funnel architecture. Funnel architecture is the most important thing. So that should answer your question, Kanan, that your first sale is going to come in this affirmation stage right here. And then, and that should be at the end of your first email sequence, which should be an automated multi-day interactive sequence that people knew what they signed up for. Yeah, it is. It's so much better when you kind of see it all laid out. And this is what our buddy system PDF, if you signed up for that, it's there was a sign-up sheet in one of our Creative Juice episodes about the buddy system. If you signed up for that, you're going to get a sheet that walks you through all this. And if you're on our list, you're also going to get that same sheet. So we're going to send that all out when it's ready. And it'll show you exactly how this works, so you don't have to stress it anymore. But it really, if you can just have this process map up and know that this is what you're looking for, then you should be able to map out exactly how you're going to release your album, exactly where your first sale is going to come from. So yeah, that is that. If anyone has any questions about what we just went over, leave them below and I'll try to answer them as we go along. But I just wanted to get to the next question in the series. So hold on one second. Oh yeah, Stan had a question that I wanted to address. Let me find that real quick. So he said he's been having a lot of success with ManyChat. 2 videos of his went kind of viral, and it's mainly due to the Facebook comments growth tool. He's wondering if it's possible for the bot to only message people who haven't been contacted before. We haven't gone through this yet. So once again, this is in your education stage. He's now educating the people who watched his video on who he is with a ManyChat sequence, a Facebook Messenger sequence. There's really not a whole lot of great options for that. With Dukes, what we did was we did a different value sequence for every video to make them kind of different for people who had already taken one, which kind of makes it like cool, like collectibles. Like you got to catch them all. Check out all the free stuff we're giving away in the multiple sequences, and you can find people who go over like all of them as we did with Dukes, and they're like super fans. They're like, I love this. This is so cool. So that's kind of the answer. We're gonna dig into the tagging functionality and try to figure out how we can reliably filter out people who have already taken the sequence. But until then, there's no fallback for that I know of. So Taylor might be able to help you with that, though. Taylor Gittin he's great at ManyChat. He's very creative with it. Okay, so let me just finish this here. But yeah, the buddy system is really the most reliable way that you're going to be able to walk through all the campaigns you need in place. Okay, Christian had a few questions. Number 1, he was asking, should we be using the text blocks on our Facebook video view cold traffic campaigns? Persia did a fucking awesome job with that. And I don't really have an answer for that because Persia had great results with it. Persia ran into some issues where if his thumbnail had the text in it, it would get rejected by Facebook ads. But once he switched the thumbnail to a frame that didn't have text, he was good to go. So try it out. I mean, a lot of Facebook videos go very viral using that strategy. So by all means, check it out and see if it works for you. I'm not doing it on my videos, and if I see enough results, I might test it. But that's kind of the answer for now, is that you can totally try it out. And then CJ also asked a very, very good question, which is, should he basically has 1,000 warm audience from his initial video campaigning. And he wants to know, is that enough to retarget for an upcoming live show? And yeah, it is. You got 1,000 people. They're going to see your ad. They've already seen your video. They might be interested. But you're going to have to monitor your campaign closely because you're going to get fatigued very, very quickly. And if it's not getting results, you don't want to just leave it on. But you're totally good to run. 1,000 people's great. That's great. Not only that, you can now create a lookalike audience off of those 1,000 people. And that will be much better than your targeting, presumably. Usually it's much better than your targeting. So 1,000 people is a great starting point. And then he asks, should I just run my event campaign to cold audience? And the answer is no. Don't ever do that. You will waste a shitload of money. People won't know what you're offering because you're offering something that has to do with knowing intimately a little bit about you. So I would not recommend ever running event registrations to cold audiences. And then our last question. Thank you very much, Nino. This is Nino's shirt. He said, nice shirt. So yeah, our last question, McKinney asks, now that YouTube is allowing videos to stream in embedded format in Facebook again, should we be running YouTube video view campaigns? The answer for me is no, I wouldn't. Not only do I not get the metrics about how much of the video people watched, which is super important to me, and I don't get to have as much of my own data on the back end, but native videos just do much better than YouTube videos across the board. So you're losing out on results, and most importantly, you're losing out on that follow-up. And once again, this is the funnel. This is what we're looking at. You are serving a video view campaign. You're paying money to show your video to people who might like it, okay? Now, that money's going to be a waste if you can't reliably figure out how many of them actually responded, okay? It's direct response marketing. So you need to measure the response of this, and you lose that functionality of 25%, 50%, 100% video view retargeting if you don't work with native video. So that's why we recommend native video. Facebook is always going to favor native video over potentially someone leaving their site. It's just kind of how they operate. So yeah, if anyone has any other questions, I would love to answer any questions you might have about the trainings or understanding the buddy system a little more. I've got your back. I'm just going to fill this in and then we'll get back to you. That is so true. Great question. Great question, Wildred. Should you integrate ManyChat when running your first video view campaign? I would. I totally would, because it's just leaving subscribers on the table, potentially. But one thing with the comment to messenger feature is that you do have to indicate in your post text that if they comment below, they're going to get a message. Otherwise, Facebook is going to slap you. So, So what I would do is I would indicate in your post text underneath your headline that if people comment below, they will get, some free music, and use a keyword to trigger the sequence. So that way you are letting people know. That way you won't get haters who are just commenting on the video to say like this is trash or whatever they say. Nino knows all about those, and you won't get them getting your ManyChat sequence, which can be very, very awkward if people who dislike what you showed them are getting your ManyChat sequence. So yeah, I would, because it's just in order to get to sales, guys, in order to get to the point where you are making money off of all this, where this becomes a career for you, you have to do all these steps, okay? So the major thing that you want to look at is, if I'm correctly running introductions, which are your video view campaigns, how am I educating people? What's the campaign? What am I going to do with the people who watch my video? Okay? How do I want to get them introduced to who I am, give them a reason to, check out my posts when they see it on their newsfeed, right? To look deeper, or to, because basically they've seen you once, right? Now they're in this state of like, if they see you again, they might be like, hey, that guy, right? You want to get them past that. You want to get them to the stage where they're like, oh, this dude, I know about him. Let me tell you, maybe they're with their friend looking at their newsfeed and they're like, dude, this dude showed me his music the other day and he talked to me. That's what ManyChat is for. It's education. Then permission, you need this in place. You need a permission offer in place in order to start generating sales. Now, people will, once again, in any funnel, people are just going to slip right all the way through this. They're going to end up making high-ass purchases without having even talked to you once. Okay, that does happen, but it's not a reliable way to grow a business. And that's why we want to have intentional, measurable, reliable campaigns at every step of this sequence. So yes, 1 + 1 does equal 10, exactly. So you want to be educating people. You want to have some kind of reason for them to subscribe to your email list. Why? Because it's very hard to reach out to people using organic social media. It's very expensive to run ads. But email is goddamn next to free. I mean, it is so close to free that it's insane. Like, your ROI is always going to be gigantic with email. The average return on investment for email is like 3,800%. Okay? So, Nino's killing it. So yeah, that is why you want to get people onto an email list. We use permission offers for this. Our Building Your Permission Offer training is a great example of this, okay? That is how we get to the nurturing sequence, which is where we actually email them. So whatever they're opting in for, that's what we're going to send in this nurturing sequence. For Nino, it was the audio trip. They're opting in for a multi-day interactive experience in which Nino goes through the whole album. That's what we sent them. The nurturing sequence, it got them to reply. It got them to talk directly to us. It got them to understand behind the scenes. It got them to see what we were building, which is the most important thing to building a movement, is have everyone be on the same board or be on board with you. And then it got us real close to a lot of people. And then we said, okay, now we're offering a product. This is how we pay for everything we're doing here. People know that. They know that you're a broke musician. They know that you're trying to do something extraordinary. And they know that in order for this to continue happening, if they like everything that's gone on up until then, they have to help support. That's where your supporters will be. That's where your first sale goes. And then, then you're safe. Then you're safe to grow your audience and know that that money is going to come back. As long as you have campaigns in place that get you that mathematics, that arithmetic, then you can actually make profit, a living, something that can start supporting you without a 9-to-5 in the ascension stage. Affirmation stage pays for all the marketing, pays for all the traffic, pays for running MailChimp and all that. Ascension stage gets it to where this is your full-time job and you're sending people up multiple products. And then your referral stage is where this becomes cheaper because people will refer you and you don't have to pay to make an indirect introduction. You get, exactly, we did, $500 in 16 minutes. It was crazy. So yeah, so the referral stage makes this cheaper. The street team stage makes this way, way cheaper. So that's kind of how the funnel works. You need to work your way through this. The quicker and more solid you can get through this, the quicker and more solid you'll get to a reliable music career. Once again, this is the buddy system and how you should understand it. Yeah, CDs. We offer, but not just CDs, remember. Limited edition signed CDs with a lifetime VIP pass, meaning that if they went to any show, they can hang out backstage however long they want. So any show ever by Nino, they get a lifetime VIP pass. No. Yeah, so we started off with 400 limited edition CDs. We sold out of those across a 1 month period. And then we had all these non-limited edition CDs. What do we do with those? Well, free plus shipping and handling offers with a funnel on the back end for Ascension. Yeah, we sold the original autograph limited edition with the lifetime VIP pass for $20 plus shipping. Yeah, email's the jam. So that's why this funnel is kind of shaped this way. I kind of want you guys to understand that. It makes total sense. You have to pay the most here. You're running ads, getting people introduced. You don't have to pay so much to educate them. You don't have to pay so much to get their permission to email them, right? Because now they're warm. You have to pay even less to nurture them. And then your ROI on the affirmation stage, since all the sales are coming through email, is huge because email is so cheap. It's like 50 cents or less per subscriber 5 cents per subscriber per month, right? So that's nuts. I mean, that's pretty easy, and that's at its most expensive. So the affirmation stage is where you start to pay for all this. We're actually launching a subscription service with Nino. That's kind of an ascension strategy, okay? Until you have people who are like, I dig this and I'll buy an album, and they dig what you're doing, you're not going to know if people will want a membership site, what they pay for it. We got so much data out of just asking people. Yeah, text was huge. We actually collected phone numbers at the beginning of the audio trip and then texted people when they had another day of the audio trip available. So that was huge and something that we kind of fell off with, but yeah, it was good. We just did a four panel digipack. Digipacks are super cheap. We did a 6-panel insert for limited edition and a 4-panel insert for non-limited edition. We didn't get charged any extra for doing that. We used Bison Disc in Orlando, Florida. Fan clubs that are a subscription basis, it really depends. If you want to go all out with it and make it something like crazy and it's kind of higher ticket price, even just $10 a month. I mean, that to a lot of people is a fair amount of money because it's coming directly out of their credit card. Like, they kind of got to trust you in order to have a continuity subscription with you. You really want, it's a later in the funnel kind of strategy, and you won't know what to put in that to make it cool until you have enough people telling you this would be cool and this would be cool. I mean, Nino can tell you, we get messages every day from people telling us what sucks and what's cool and what could be cooler. Yeah, you need to have a lot of momentum, I think. So it is an ascension strategy. Once you're selling CDs, once you're selling, merchandise and stuff, doing some shows and you're getting up into the 10,000, 20,000, you've got an email list that's approaching 1,000. Then you can start to think about it and start developing it by actually asking your audience. Exactly. We've done e-commerce with over 600 people, and that allows us to be at a stage where we can offer a membership service. Not, we couldn't have done it before that, or it would have failed in a lot of ways, I think. Yeah, and you guys remember, you're paying into this. Like, we paid in, I think Nino knows, like $1,000 in just building a relationship on the front end before we started the audio trip. And we got 800 email subscribers that way. But you're going to be paying into this to build that front end relationship. Yeah, I did harass him so much. To build that front end relationship. And then you're going to have something that can take you through the next phase. So you have a warm audience you can retarget with permission offers, and it'll work because you paid into it. And then once you have an email list, you can email these people because you paid into that relationship. You have to deposit so much goodwill in the bank before people will reciprocate. And that's natural. Yeah. We did get back off tips. We offered tips on the audio trip. And we haven't gotten any tips since we made the audio trip evergreen. But so when the audio trip was run live, like day by day, we put up a tip button and we got like a ton of money in tips, $800 in tips about. But yeah, after a while, people stopped tipping because we were making offers for CDs and hoodies and stuff. So if anyone has any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. I think this has been awesome. We've gotten a lot of stuff off the ground. This is going to come to you in PDF worksheet format, and it's going to be badass. We've been working on it, and it's going to be the shit, and it'll help you totally figure out which campaigns am I putting at each step. We're going to have recommended types of campaigns for each step, that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend being on the lookout for the Buddy System PDF, because it's totally going to help you figure out what am I doing at each phase to get to this self-sustaining music career and then profitable music career. This is where it all becomes profitable. This is where it becomes really, really profitable. And you can start to live a normal person's life on your music. We did the tip button, right on the actual site using ClickFunnels. Now, we're going to have a shitload of templates and trainings coming out that talk a lot about what we're able to do in ClickFunnels. And I've also shared a few funnels with you guys. Right now, you can get ClickFunnels for like $18.90 or something like that. We're using our share funnels. So if you're in the Building Your Permission Offer training and you click on that share funnel, you can get a limited version of ClickFunnels that allows you to use up to 3 share funnels. And we're going to give you every share funnel for everything we do. So that's a way to do it. But yeah, we did it right on ClickFunnels. Yeah, we had a $1 tip button, and we got like 20 tips from one guy. And then the next day we were talking to him, and he was like, I live in Europe and I get charged $150 every time I tip you guys. So I ended up paying like 2.5 the amount that I tipped you on charges. And we were like, what the fuck? So they're like, what a dude, right? His name is Damo Gravenor. And so the next day we changed the cart to be $1 tip, $5 tip, and $10 tip. We named the $10 tip level the Damo Gravenor tip. And we told his story right there on the tip checkout page, which I thought was the coolest thing in the world. And it just goes to show you how this is so much less about you than it is about the people you're building with. I mean, Nino knows most of his fans on a first name basis. If someone shows up in his live stream, he knows where they live, he knows, about their family, he knows what's been going on with them, what they do for a passion. He's out there building relationships every single day, and like, this is marketing. This is bullshit, this is real shit, but it'll get in your head if you let it. Don't forget that all of this is about building a relationship. That's why the buddy system is framed after a human friendship. Because at the end of the day, if you're not building relationships with hundreds of people, you're not doing anything unique. You're selling a few albums. You're not going to have something that's an asset. An asset is something that you can profit off of and live off of for a long, long time. And building relationships is how you build an asset of a fan base. Just selling people is not an asset of a fan base. Case in point, the Baha Men, okay? Baha Men sold 1 million copies of that album that had Who Let the Dogs Out. How many people do you think bought Baha Men's second release, okay? That's what you want to understand here. They didn't build a relationship with anyone. They had a hit song, and the radio forced it down everyone's throats until everyone bought that crap album. And then they weren't going to buy a second album because of the vehicle through which they bought the first album. So we do something completely different. We care about people. We care about building that relationship. How would you use a paid feature from an artist that has more buzz than you as leverage to promote your album, single, etc.? What would you do? Press release? If so, where? Yeah. And so Wildred's asking about paid features. We don't recommend paid features. If you notice, since Nino launched the audio trip, he hasn't done any features with anyone, like on his records. And Nino can tell you a lot about why building your own platform is a lot less about borrowing other people's fans. Okay, if you get placed on a blog, you paid a shitload of money to get placed on that blog. Guess what? That blog's audience is not your audience. Similarly, bigger artists' audiences are not your audience. They care about the bigger artists. No song is going to make them care about you. I mean, maybe a little bit. Yes, maybe a little bit. But in a concentrated way, that's not what's going to happen. Way more often, have you ever done a like? Yeah. We haven't done a like campaign. We don't do like campaigns. We get likes through video view campaigns. But yeah, I don't really believe in buying a paid feature. Now, if you're going to do it, I would demo it or debut it by running paid traffic to that artist's audience if they're targetable in Facebook, and then have a funnel on the back end that makes that audience your audience. But if you're just releasing, like even worse, if you get a paid feature and then you release it with blog publicity, you're getting a sliver of the right audience, and they're not going to end up in your funnel. They're not going to end up here. They're going to end up on another article on that blog. They're the blog's audience. They're not your audience. Don't rent your audience from other people unless it's Facebook. That's my advice. I'm sure there are people out there who will contend with what I have to say. Listen to them. Do your due diligence, research what they're saying, and see if it makes more sense than what I'm saying. But that's just my opinion. Is that we don't benefit off of buying features and stuff like that. Yeah, if it's an artistic pursuit, if it's something you really want, do it. But don't do it as a means of getting more attention, because you want to create your fans who care about you primarily. Like, if you think about it, so many people have said to Nino, they've said, I don't even listen to anyone else anymore, because Nino takes them into a world, right? He's not part of the ubiquitous stream of music that flows by our ears on Spotify and SoundCloud and wherever else we just get served music on a constant basis, okay? He's not part of that stream. He exists up here in this stream that he's created for himself, right? It's his. No one else exists there, and his fans soon enough stop listening to other musicians. That's what you're going for. You're creating your own world, okay? So yeah, that's how I like to think about it, and it really does have that effect. It is completely different. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got into Nino initially through his features. That's a granted, and I mean, it's one way to do it, but like I said, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how many fans you have. How many people you have accumulated at these different stages. I think you'll agree that you don't make reliable sales without that, right? So if a strategy doesn't contribute to your numbers at any of the stages along this funnel, then it's probably not that worth it. I can think of tons of types of campaigns, cost way less, and will get you people all along this funnel. So that's my recommendations. I hope this has been an awesome Indies Live Q&A. I'm going to leave like a few more seconds in case anyone has one last question. But this has been awesome. I'm so happy that I got to articulate this in a way that makes sense. If anyone has any more questions about this, you can leave them below, and we'll take care of it in next week's live Q&A, which these are happening on Sunday now, so you can expect them to come every Sunday, until we get into the Indie Pro membership, and then they'll be hosted there. So yeah. Yeah. A lot of people get into Nino through Slaughterhouse. It's been a huge asset to them. But also, it's kind of annoying, because people are like, why aren't you with Slaughterhouse? That's all those people want to know about. And we have to like literally pull them away from that thinking and break that thought pattern. Best way to entice fans to purchase music from you directly is to give them the digital music for free. It's to not paywall your digital music. Give that to them and then sell physical products. That is what we've seen is the best way to get to it. Now, you want to be on Spotify because you can get reliable residual income from it if you get people to playlists. But digital files that I can download from my computer, there's very few things on the planet worth less than that. That is not worth anything. There's no value association in our mind. I mean, we can get 1 million free downloads for free without much effort. So with the value of a download of a digital file has been brought so low, okay? You want to give them something valuable, and how to give someone something valuable, how to make an offer that they can't refuse has a lot to do with the unique selling proposition. And this dates back to the 1930s. You want to offer something that they've never heard of before. So, for instance, let's say you're selling your old Volkswagen for $3,500, right? And it's worth $3,500 Blue Book. And that's all you say in your ad, right? I have a Volkswagen worth $3,500 selling for $3,500, right? No one gives a shit, right? No one's going to care. That doesn't cut through the noise. That's not a very good signal. But if you say, hey, I have a mid-condition blue Volkswagen that I will sell you for $4,100. Now, on top of that, I'm going to pay for your gas for a year and drive it out to you wherever you are. That is a unique selling proposition, okay? That is something completely different than what someone might be getting offered in the stream of car ads that they might be seeing trying to look for a car. You want to do that to every product you ever offer. Do that process. Uniquify it, right? Make it cooler than anything else they've seen. So for Nino, that was autographed, lifetime VIP pass, one of only 400 ever in the world, okay? That's not just a CD. That's a CD you've never heard of before, okay? That is how you entice fans to purchase music from you directly. Also let's talk about that, because no one wants to buy your music, okay? That's one thing you kind of got to get out of your head right now. Nobody is compelled. It's not very compelling to get them to give up money to buy a copy of your music, okay? Now, there's so many different ways in which they can get your music or any music for free. It's almost ubiquitous, okay? You don't want to sell music. You want to sell tokens of the relationship that you're building. So if your nurture sequence walks them through, for instance, a whole lot about your battles with depression, okay? And you kind of, your album is themed around that. Then you want to write a really, really heartfelt booklet that's like multiple pages. Pack that in there. I'm also going to handwrite you a letter, every single person who buys this CD, and, see what else you can throw on it. I'm also going to throw in, I've been, let's say, and this is a really weird example, but let's say you've been collecting, coins since you were a kid, I'm gonna throw in one of these collectible coins that I've been collecting since I was a kid, right? Anything, literally anything you can do to make it more interesting than just, I'm giving you a CD. And no one wants your CD. Nobody. They want something way cooler than that, way more personal than that, if you've built, fans all the way through this. So they've met you, they discovered you, they got educated on you, they gave you their contact info, and then they opened and clicked your emails where you walk through what it is you're all about. Then what they're buying is what you're all about. They're not buying your CD. They're buying what you're all about, okay? And your product should follow suit. Your product should reflect that fact. And I think that's really, really important to understand, is that no one's buying your music. No one even wants your t-shirt. They have shirts. They can get shirts for as cheap as possible, right? It's never been cheaper. They can get 100 black t-shirts for $90, right? And they're probably great shirts. Nobody wants your shirt. Nobody wants your album. Nobody even wants, a higher dollar offer, your member registration, or even, a live show with you. They want to connect with what you're all about. if you can make your product way, way more about that connection than it is about whatever you're actually selling them, then you'll do great. And that is all that I have to say about that. Okay, it looks like we're coming to the end here. I just want to see if anyone has any more questions. And did that make sense also, Wildred? I do want to know if that makes perfect sense. No, you don't want to run. You don't want to insert your 25% previous view audience into the same campaign that you were running on them previously. So let's say you set up a video view campaign for your single, right? People watch that. Great. They're for later use. You can either run a new video on them, or you can run an offer for, you know, your education sequence with ManyChat if you have that. You can run an offer for your email lists where they can sign up to get free music or whatever it is that you're going to use as a vehicle to make them more aware of what you're all about and nurture that relationship. So that 25% or more video view audience is an asset for other campaigns. And you build it and build it and build it. So much so to the point where we're now running permission offers for the audio trip on anyone who's watched 25% or more of Nino's videos in the past, you know, I think it's been like 7 months now. And that's about 189,000 people or more, 200,000, something like that, just for one video. So that's where you want to get. You want to save that audience for later. That's your retargetable audience. They've already been indirectly introduced to you. Now you need to educate them. And then it'll be much easier to get them to join your email list. After that, you nurture them with an email sequence, and then make an offer. Make an offer for something really, really cool that reflects the relationship you've built up until that point. And that is all. So unless anyone has any more questions, I'm going to get on out of here. And I hope that this has been super helpful for all of you guys. You can leave questions below if you would like them answered on the next live Q&A. So if you're seeing the replay of this, feel free to leave them below and we'll include them in the next live Q&A. If anyone has any more personal questions they need answered directly by me, you can email me, you know the email. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. Get shit done this week. Get more people through this process and start building your movement and start really, really getting specific about what it is you're all about. Peace out, guys. Have an awesome